Stocks can give you everything you actually ask for when they report. Earnings good, revenue, stronger guidance, growing demand, and still a stock can lose 20% of its value. That sounds irrational. But if Wall Street wants a stock to fall, well, it happens all the time. And sometimes that temporary disconnect between the business and the stock price creates amazing opportunities. Now, a few weeks ago, we saw this happen time and time again with AI infrastructure and memory. Not because artificial intelligence suddenly stopped needing memory or storage or faster networking. And in several cases, the exact opposite was happening underneath the hood. Businesses were getting stronger, and now we saw prices falling hard. But over the last 2 weeks, stocks have been catching up. So today I want to show you some stocks I'm looking at. I want to show you 3 stocks that the fundamental story hasn't changed, but they have been improving on Wall Street after the meltdown. And then if you don't like any one of those, I want to go through an ETF that packages them all together. Before we get on to that, man, I want you to like, I want you to subscribe, and I want you to share this video out. And if you could, man, help us get to 2,000 likes because that'll help us get good in the algorithm. And I'm buying these stocks right now. Let's go. First, let's start here. Why do stocks actually go on sale after having great revenue, after having great profits, after having strong guidance? Well, one of the reasons why they go on sale is because, well, stocks can be super extended and Wall Street just has a sell-off. So let's start with a company by the name of MU. I want to start there. Now, in NVIDIA, if NVIDIA is the brain for powering AI artificial intelligence, then Micron helps the brain have memory. Now, Micron makes semiconductor memory. Now, I want to answer some investors so you can really understand how this goes because we make stock trading content and we make stock market advice content, and I need us to just understand how this game goes, right? And so we saw Micron have a record quarter and the stock fell really, really hard. So think about it like this. If you have a filing cabinet behind you and the papers are spread across the desk in front of you, then a filing cabinet is where the information is stored for the long term. And then the desk is where you keep the information you need right now. That's essentially the difference between storage and working memory. AI systems need enormous amounts of fast memory because GPUs are constantly moving gigantic data around. And you cannot buy the world's most powerful GPU and then starve it of information. And that's where stuff like DRAM and HRB and HBM basically come in. So it's high bandwidth memory for the technical name. And that is a widening highway between memory and processing. And I don't want to sound too technical, right? Just giving you an idea of what that is. Now, more AI models means more interface. It means larger clusters of AI and more GPUs and increased in the importance of memory. And Micron's numbers are beginning to show exactly how powerful that demand has come. Think about this. In the third quarter, it had $41.6 billion in revenue and $18 billion in free cash flow. And management said it's only going to go up. Now, let's stop right there for a second because I want you to understand what free cash flow tells us. Revenue tells us how much money came into the company. Accounting profits tell us how much is remaining after expenses. Free cash flow asks a more practical question. After running a company, after investing on everything the business needs, how much cash did we produce? And Micron produced billions. Now, that is a company that was on sale for us. Now, when I say on sale, that stock truly went from $1,200 all the way down to $737. Now, just wait for a second because I want to show you how that look on the chart. All-time high on Micron was about, here we go, $1,256.16. It came down as low as $737. Now, I want you to look at something right here. I'm going to use my measuring tool. That stock came down 41% from its high. That, my friends, is an amazing discount. And some people keep saying, I wanted to go lower, I wanted to go lower. Now, true enough, none of us can really catch it at the bottom because we don't know where the bottom is. So this becomes a great time to average down. I mean, if you bought high, you keep average down, you bring a cost basis down. Now look over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, high has done like rolled up. So it went from 737 to now it's now trading right above its 20 and 50-day moving average, and right now, as of the close of Friday, it's trading at 976. So we take that number, 976, 10, 11, 12. It's about $300 from its all-time high. I personally think that that would be a great opportunity to still buy this stock because, like we said, Micron told us what? Their demand for memory is only getting larger. So this becomes a great time to buy. And I know what you're saying, Trap. Like, that's high, but just wait a minute. Just hang in here with me because I got a few options that I think we can all look at when they get toward the end. The next company I want to look at is Seagate, ticker symbol STX. And I want you to stop and think about Seagate as, don't look at it as some old computer storage company. Look at it as it has changed because every AI model creates data, every customer creates data, every training runs creates data, and every checkpoint needs data. And every video generated by AI creates data, and every image and every medical record, every financial document, every security camera, every enterprise data, enterprise-based software needs data, and it needs somewhere to live. And here's where people confuse memory and storage. Micron helps us provide the desk. Seagate helps us provide the warehouse. That's right. You don't need every piece of information sitting on a desk. I mean, it's the world's most expensive piece of information. So huge percentage of that data gets stored at scale in a high capacity drive. And that's what Seagate does. It's pushing what's called HAMR. And as technology increases and as it gets insanely immense, it becomes a capacity issue. Imagine you're operating a hyperscale data system. How much data storage do you need? A lot to store that building. And how much electricity will it consume? How many racks will it need? How much cooling will it need? How much maintenance will it need? Well, if Seagate can put significantly more data into each drive, then the customer may be able to store more information without, proportionally messing up the physical footprint. And financially, Seagate has been executing at a high level. We're talking about $3.1 billion in revenue, up from $2.6 billion early in the year. The gross margins was at 4.6%, 46.5%. And about $953 million in free cash flow in Q1. And Seagate used part of that money. Just hear me when I say this. This is going to be interesting. Seagate used part of that cash to retire early, $641 billion in debt. That's really good. That's what you want to see from a customer. Now let's talk about price when we talk about Seagate. So now let's look at STX right here. It had what's called a demand shelf. You could look at it as support, triple equal lows right there. So it came down from all-time high, which was here. All-time high was here at $1,143.68. It came down as far as $697. Think about that. Now let's put that on our measuring tool. Our measuring tool shows us how much that came down. That came down right at about 38%. That is a sweet, sweet, sweet discount. Now let's think about something for a second. It's trading now at $973. So it still has about $200 and something dollars before it reached all-time high. I still think this stock is 100% cheap because nobody knows where the bottom is. It came above its 20 and its 50-day moving average, so that becomes really good. It didn't get as far as the 200-day, but it did fall to the 50 and the 20, and it recovered those. That's a good sign of a stock. And the next stock typically is listen to what I'm about to say here, AAOI. Now, this one is one I want people to understand carefully because the opportunity is exciting. But the risk profile on this is completely different from Micron and Seagate. AAOI makes optical networking products. And the easiest way for me to help you understand this is a data center can have thousands of powerful servers. But those servers are useful if they cannot communicate fast enough. They're no good. Imagine building a city full of skyscrapers and connecting all of them with one LAN road. You have the biggest buildings in the world, traffic destroys everything, and AI data centers have similar problems because GPUs need to exchange enormous amounts of information really, really fast. And servers need to communicate. Clusters need to act like one giant computer, and that requires extremely fast networking. And increasingly, that information is going up, and it travels through fiber. And AAOI builds optical transceivers that get those products and make the connection possible. The AI market is now moving from technologies of 400G to 800G and eventually 1.6 terabyte. Now, those numbers basically represent the lanes on a highway. The faster the AI clusters, the more important those highways become. And AAOI is in the middle of an enormous manufacturing expansion. The company has told us that they have capacity for 200 units and they can reach around 650,000 per month. That's really huge, y'all. Why would management build such capacity? Well, because they believe consumer demand is coming and revenue is already beginning to increase and show that. Think about this. In Q2, they had 191 million in revenue compared to 103. That's roughly an 86% increase. And in Q3, management is saying we can get about 255 million to 290 million. So this stock is truly, it's one of them ones, man. And it's important for us to see that because AAOI is not Micron. It's not Seagate. This is a smaller company scaling aggressively, and that means potentially greater growth, but also greater execution risk. They have to build to capacity, and they have to convert that capacity into shipments, and they have to maintain margins, and they have to keep customers buying and ordering. They can't afford to spend billions of dollars if it's not going to turn into cash. So this is 100% a higher risk company. Now I want to show it to you on the chart. So think about it. All-time high was here at 233. The low kicked in here about $76, enough to scare everybody away, which is an amazing deal. And then we come down to it. What do we see? That was in total a 67% discount. And it's now trading at 35% discount. It's over the 50 and the 20, and we see our 20 curving up. And it's at 150. It has to get to 232 to get back to all-time high. Now, if you can't afford any of these stocks, a great look would be DRAM, D-R-A-M. Now, this has all the memory inside of it. So you get the Seagate, you get the Micron, you get the WDCs, you get the SK Hynix, you get all of those things in. And let's talk about DRAM for a second. Because when we first mentioned DRAM on the channel, it was $37, right? $37. Now, what I want to do is show it to you all on the chart. All right, so when we first mentioned DRAM, it was about $37. It's about here. That's when we first talked about it. Now, the stock got up all the way to 70-something dollars, and it bottomed out here a little bit past that low there. So it came to $44. It's currently trading at $57, but let's see on our chart how far that came down from here to here. It dropped 44%. Now, it's still under the 50, but it did reclaim the 20s trading at 47. Now, it's still 28% from its all-time high. I think this can be a great buy if anybody hasn't got in yet. Again, you have all of the big name memory stocks inside of this one. I think it's a great time for us to look back into memory. For those who think they missed it, you didn't. You can get DRAM at $57, but you can get AAOI at $150. And if you can't afford STX, WDC, SNDK, or MU, DRAM would be the better position for you. And that's all I want you to understand. Like, while everyone is scared, you have to see the opportunity. And I know it can be so fearful when the market is just red and it's just bleeding and everybody's screaming for help. But that is truly the best time to buy it, because we heard Warren Buffett say, be fearful when everybody is greedy and be greedy when everybody is fearful. Over the last couple of months, everybody was being fearful. That was a great time for us to be greedy. And we talked about it a lot in my Patreon. If you're interested in getting in my Patreon, the link is in the bio in the description. Check it out, because we go through 2 lottery picks a week, and that's when I give you 2 stocks and I break them all the way down for you. And if you're in a trading level, then we take the trades and I show you all of my trades, and you can be a part of the trades if you want to. We do have a great win percentage. We win and loss, and I'll be showing more of that on the page. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this with somebody, man. We're going to be putting more on YouTube. We did a live YouTube yesterday. Go check that out. We went through about 6 or 7 charts. We're going to be putting more information on the channel, from reading charts to breaking down companies to looking at dividend stocks, looking at ETFs. My goal is to help us all around the board, even going through wealth management, investment, how to produce wealth, how to create wealth. It's your boy, the Wall Street Trapper. Make you send this out to somebody who's interested in learning how to make money in the stock market. Salute.